practicing stillness is one of the practices of the Aboriginals. Today's service, we will practice this as well. So let us dedicate what we are to receive today to the Aboriginal spiritual beliefs of oneness. Oneness means for them that we're all one forever. We're part of nature, we respect nature, and we live with nature, and we are thankful for nature. So let us dedicate what we receive today with the words Om Paramatmane Namah Atta. The words I just mentioned are the dedication we do at the School of Philosophy, which is about to the universe. So remaining now with the stillness, let us allow to listen to the music of Amy. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to this beautiful building of us, which is a safe place for each person's search for bliss, for truth, religion, spirituality, and our faith, and for oneness. This beautiful building was built about 160 years ago by Unitarians, for Unitarians, for us. And we're very thankful and grateful that we are meeting here today. Last 4 years we've had the luxury of having Clay Nelson as our permanent minister, who's taking a well-deserved holiday break. And part of his holiday break is that he's here today. So very nice to have you here today. During the holiday period of Clay, the services are done by members of this congregation, and today I will be your service leader. My name is Willem, Laman-Trip. I'm a Unitarian member since the late 90s, so that's about 18 years ago, 18 years. Also member of the School of Philosophy, Practical Philosophy, about 20 years. And both the Unitarian Church and the School of Philosophy are important for me in my journey to oneness. So for those of you who are here today to gather information, welcome. And for those of you who are here today to share knowledge, welcome. For those who are here today to share wisdom with us, thank you for being here. And for those of you who are here for a spiritual experience, thank you for being here. You are here today, right now. Welcome. We particularly welcome the people who are coming regularly here. They are the backbone of this church. And for you, those of you who are here for the first time, we particularly welcome you as well, and hope you find this experience enriching. Part of this service, please stay for morning tea so we can welcome you personally. As I mentioned to you, the tradition of the Aboriginals, one of the main things is the idea about the voice. And the voice is not used for the originals for talking. It's used for singing, for celebration, and for healing. So today I'll try to minimize my words, and we will do a lot of singing. The opening words are in the hymn book, and I'll read it to you. If there is to be peace. If there is to be peace in this world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in these nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. We now do the chalice lighting. Dave, would you mind helping me with that? Is there no matches in there? Oh, that's not helpful.
The matches are here, but they're dead.
Oh, I'll give you an empty one. Maybe we have to go resort to this then. Thank you. Thank you. Now, as part of this oneness, I always sort of like to remember us that we are part of a global community. And one of the traditions in the Unitarians is that there will be a monthly global chalice reading, and I'll read that to you today. The reading is from an Indonesian minister. First, when I looked at the reading, it was all in Indonesian, so I said, how do I do this? But then lucky enough on the Google, it also said, if you want to read more, push the button. So I did, and lucky enough, there's some English translation. When it is dark, we are surrounded by fear. So light hope in your soul. When it is dark, we are full of distrust and prejudice to others. So light love in your heart. When it is dark, we lose awareness of good and evil. So light wisdom in your conscience. When it is dark, we feel that we can do whatever we want without remembering the most holy one and our neighbors. So light faith that is fulfilled with truth. Darkness exists when we forget to turn on the light. Darkness cannot be expelled with our anger and wrath, because darkness will be gone when we turn on the light. When we light up our chalice in this worship, let us not only welcoming the light for our physical eyes, but always invite the light for our spiritual eyes. A light that will free our heart, bringing wisdom and real happiness. So now I invite you to come forward, and today's chalice, I would like to particularly express our gratitude for what we have received in 2017. So I'd like you to come forward for gratitude. If you got joys, it's also, of course, possible, but please keep them personal, the same as concerns. It's an important part of our service that we allow people to put them there, and that gives them a bit of peace. So I'll ask you to come forward, if you like, for either gratitude, either a joy, or a concern. This chalice was made by one of our visiting ministers. We used to have a chalice, sort of these candles here and here, and the visiting minister found that this is more the community we're trying to practice here. So this is the oneness. So it's lovely to see all the gratitudes of the year, and it's I think there's a lot of gratitude, and we all share that in this oneness. So the last candle was for the gratitudes and the joys, and also the concerns which people carry in their hearts and haven't been spoken, but they're still in the air, because the Aboriginal also talk about communication by telepathy. So hopefully the gratitudes and the shares, the joys and concerns which you sitting there, you can put them in there, we're all together. So previous years during the Christmas break, I have done services, and they normally revolve about my practices in the School of Philosophy, and we had some CD tapes which we've been listening to for the last few years. At the moment, I'm not going to do that this year, because we run into the Aboriginal spirituality this year. And that actually combines, for me, three traditions nicely. First of all, the School of Philosophy, which has got the Advaita philosophy, which is the non-duality. Non-duality means we're all the same, we're all part of the one thing. The Unitarian Church, the interdependent web of all existence. Again, we are all one. We are interdependent, we need each other. And then this year, we run into the Aboriginal traditions. And here, beliefs is forever oneness. Oneness now, in this life, but it doesn't stop there. It's a forever oneness. So how did I come to change my mind from using the philosophy CDs to this? Well, Trudy and I have been reading books. Not that I'm a good reader, but this time I did. And we started with this book here, which is from Milo Morgan in his Mutant Message Down Under. And this is a novel story about a woman from the Western world who happens to go on a long 3-month walking journey through the desert with the Aboriginals. And as she walks down and experiences it, from the material world, she had a glimpse of the spiritual way the Aboriginals live. Then Trudy and I, not sure why, we decided to go for a little winter trip to Australia, to take the train from the Garn trip from Adelaide to Darwin. In Darwin, we went to in Adelaide, we went to a little museum, which they showed a little bit about the Aboriginal history. And that was interesting by itself. The train trip was amazing, because it's all the same. And it start tickle you as far as spiritual values. In Darwin, we hired a camper van and we drove through that area. Basically, we went through the Kakadu National Park, which is one of the reserves where the Aboriginals live, because they're only living in national parks. The experience we had there was quite special. Everything we went to was dedicated to oneness. And that was quite special. The rock art there is dedicated to oneness. And then we came back and we read the second book, also from Milo Morgan, Message from Forever. And for us, that's actually, we talked about it a lot in preparing the service, and it was really lovely to share it with Trudy. So that's the reason I'm this year doing the spirituality of the Aboriginals. So as I mentioned before, one of the Aboriginal traditions is the use of the voice, which is, again, that is, they use the voice for singing, healing, and celebration. So as we sing our next song, I want you to connect to the oneness as we sing. So if you sing, be aware of what you hear. The loudness of your voice should be enough that you can hear yourself. Just loud enough that you can hear above the level of the room. And that lifts it a little bit. And that we will create a beautiful harmony, and if we can connect to that, then we practice one of the things of the Aboriginal tradition. So another one of the practices of the Aboriginal tradition, they call themselves real people, is to be silent. It also serves a practical purpose, because they use silence, but particularly on this walk, which I talked about, this lady was walking with the Aboriginals, there was absolutely silence as they walked. And the reason is that they connect to the earth. They connect, they can hear where the water is, because in the desert there is no water, so but they can hear that. They were very aware of the nature around them. Sounds of animals which they need for their food. So they don't talk when they walk. They just connect. They be one, and then be very respectful if they receive anything like water or food. They will be extremely respectful for that. And the other thing they apparently the book suggests is that they even use mental telepathy to connect to people about 20 miles away. So the story went that there was somebody went out to go hunting because he felt that he was the person designated for this particular day to go out and find some food, and he went there and he had a kangaroo, and it was 20 miles away, and he had to get permission to take off the tail, and he could connect that telepathetic back to the tribe, and they could back that. So the stillness for them is just a total connection with whatever the universe provides. And I'm not sure if we're going to have time for meditation, but if we haven't, that doesn't matter, because the time in between the songs and the stillness, use that as a meditation practice. In the book there is a fire blessing, which is one of the things which is used by the real people, which is century old, and I read it to you. And I've changed the word fire to flame to remind us about our chalice. May the flame be in our thoughts, making them true, good and just. May it protect us from accepting anything else. May the flame be in our eyes. May it open our eyes to share what is good in life. We ask that the flame protect us from what is not rightfully ours. May the flame be on our lips, so that we may speak the truth in kindness, that we may serve and encourage others. May the flame be in our ears, so that we hear with deep listening, so that we may hear the flow of water and all creation and the dreaming. May we be protected from gossip and from things that have the ability to harm and break down our family. May the flame be in our arms and hands, so we may be of service and build up love. May the flame be in our whole being, in our legs, and in our feet, enabling us to walk. Enabling us to walk the earth with reverence and care, so that we may walk in the ways of goodness and truth, and be protected from walking away from what is the truth. One of the things which also really resonated with us was the non-judgment, and I'll read you something about that. Here in the desert I learned observation. Judgment means deciding right or wrong, or degrees of more right or than wrong. When you judge, you automatically set out yourself up for the other half of the equation. You must also experience and learn forgiveness. When you judge, you ultimately spend equal time, moment to moment, in forgiving. If you don't do it while you are alive, you will do it at another time. So the suggestion is we observe. The practice is to observe. Now we're not going to do hymn number 16 because the time is getting towards 11:30. But what I'd like to share with you is the little journey Trudy and I made when preparing this service. And I'll demonstrate that with this little diagram. It's not on the back, so I can't see it myself. Anyway, I think what it says is, so that's the journey you make. There's a lot of information in the world. You pick some information and you start reading it. There you go, reading it is okay. You're reading it, may get a little bit of knowledge. This actually applies to anything you do in daily life as well, like any skill you require. So you read something, you're interested, you get some information, you read it, you got knowledge in it. So, okay, you know how to build a house. Well, now that's okay, but now to actually get the wisdom, you have to do it. You may find it's more difficult than you think, building a house. Now, once you got the wisdom, you can build that house in peacefulness and in bliss. That is when you're there. You become one with the work you're doing. So this whole concept, we thought is quite nice, and that's what came up with us as a result of dancing around it. And then, so you can also apply this on your spiritual journey. Okay, you may have a good impulse to come to this church, get information. You may like it. But then there are practices we ask people to do. We suggest we provide service. We do all sorts of kind of things. You put it in practice. Maybe one day we got that. For wisdom it has to become one. But if you're one with it and you experience it as bliss and it's not something you do, but it's just the way you are, then you're back here again. So we thought that's quite nice. But then we thought, no, it's not like that. You can't just go from there to there to there to there. What it is, Trudy, can you help me? Because we got we've designed the tree of oneness, and that's there. So as Trudy unfolds that, this search for the truth is a continuous thing. First time you come around, a little bit of knowledge, and then there's a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of bliss, that moment of bliss. You feel good, and then it goes again. And what has happened is you go around it, so you spiral your way up. You get finer and finer and finer, until at the end, see, so you go... So, right at the end of all of this, so that's And then the question is, at the end, is where are you on this spiral of your journey to spirituality? And so once you're becoming one with everything, when you go oneness, when you're part of that web of existence, when you're non-duality, then you're enlightened. We got a little while to go before we're there, but that's okay, we've got time. If it's not in this embodiment, it may be in the next. So as I'm going to extinguish the chalice, I'd like to remind you again about this global community we have with the rest of the world. And I did the service, the first service of 2070, and we started with a Unitarian wave there, because that was the beginning of lighting the chalice for the year, and the wave would have gone through right through the rest of the world. Today, the last day for us to celebrate in this year, we will extinguish the chalice, and that process will go right through the world over the next 24 hours. Tonight at about 11 o'clock, it will be in Europe that the extinguishing the chalice for the last time of the year. In America, it will be tomorrow morning, about 6, 7 o'clock. On the west coast of America, it will be about 11 o'clock. So, as you go through the day, remember that oneness with our fellow Unitarians all over the world. My closing words are a ritual chant of the real people. Forever oneness, who sings to us in silence, who teaches us through each other, guide my steps with strength and wisdom. May I see the lessons as I walk, honor the purpose of all things. Help me to touch with respect. Always speak from behind my eyes. Let me observe, not judge. May I cause no harm and leave music and beauty after my visit when I return to forever. May the circle be closed and the spiral be broader.